Eli Yufest is with Campaign Research, does a lot of interesting polling, not only politically, but also for consumer products and stuff like that. Joins us right now because politics is all about consuming. But let's talk about the poll you did. Is a hypothetical, was it?
It is, correct, yeah.
And tell me about it.
So basically we just asked the electorate in Toronto, if an election were held tomorrow, who would they currently be likely to vote for?
And in that poll, did you have suggestions, or could anybody say anybody?
Yeah, so we had a number of suggestions. John Tory, Doug Ford, and Mike Layton were the three suggestions. And of course, if they didn't like any of them, they could pick undecided. And
why pick Mike Layton? Because he's NDP, or is there some thought that he's going to be running this time round? I know he's going to eventually run.
Yeah, so there are rumors, of course, of potentially him running. So typically when we do a poll like this, we typically pick somebody from the traditional left, and so he just happened to be the person that we picked this time.
So then, Ellie, who won? What were the results?
So Mayor Tory would, if an election were held tomorrow, would be re-elected as mayor.
Is that overwhelming, or was it close?
I would say it was a pretty strong mandate. He was a clear front runner versus the other candidates.
And do you think it would be changed if it was just against Ford and Tory? Would that make any difference?
Potentially. It really just depends on where all the sort of traditional left voters would go, and would they go with, I guess, hypothetically Ford or hypothetically Tory. I don't know, and I can't really speak to, but it would be a more interesting dynamic, that's for sure.
So did you go into the questions of why people would vote for Ford or why people would vote for Tory? In other words, was it policies? Was it personality?
Yeah, so we did, and so we did a number of analysis about that, and really we see Tory's approval rating increase really because of a lot of the things that he's been doing lately, whether it's regarding community housing or transit. Those two issues are very, very big key issues in the city of Toronto, and he's gone to bat for both of those issues, and that's why we're seeing his popularity increase.
You use the phrase "gone to bat," and a lot of people would agree with that. But when you say "gone to bat," does that mean he's batting down the province? I mean, is that entering into it? Because it's certainly entering into the public domain. You talk to anybody these days, and they say, "Well, Tory is sticking up for the city against the province."
So there's no doubt about that. I mean, it's pretty well documented, particularly around community housing. He's really gone to bat against other levels of government for increased funding for community housing, and we're seeing the electorate reflect positive feelings and sentiment towards the mayor because of that.
Let's talk about the subways now, because the mayor has been very strong, of course, on the Scarborough subway. And did you do your polling? Did you break it down by areas? In other words, is Scarborough really supporting him because of the subway?
So no. So unfortunately, we didn't get too granular in terms of the various.
Oh, what a great word, granular. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So really, we just look at it in totality, I guess. Toronto proper. We didn't get into sort of the North York and Scarborough, East York, that kind of dynamic. But there's overwhelming, support for completing the Scarborough subway. I think the electorate in Toronto are just tired of all the sort of back and forth, and really the mayor has been championing the cause of let's just get the thing done, and the electorate is on side with him on that.
Okay, Eli, fascinating stuff. Do you do this every month? Are we going to be having it every month until whenever it is? It's going to be the fall of next year?
If I'm invited back, I'd love to come back, sure.
Okay, well, you know what? You do the poll, and we'll invite you back. We'll track it as it goes along.
You got it.